Miramax Films is proud to present one of the most celebrated motion pictures of the year. The winner of the 1994 Palme d'Or, the best picture of the Cannes Film Festival.
Come on, let's get in character. I'm so interested in big man's life. Well, he's going out of town, Florida, and he asked me if I take care of her while he's gone. Take care of him? No, man. Just show her a good time, make sure she don't get lonely. Good. You see, this is a moral test of oneself.
I do believe Marcellus, my husband, your boss, told you to take me out and do whatever I wanted.
I love you so much, can't count on whether or not you can maintain loyalty.
Night of the fight, you may feel a slight sting. Pride only hurts. It never helps. In the fifth, your ass goes down.
I have to say, play with matches, you get burned.
We should have shotguns for this kind of deal.
We're in a lot of danger, aren't we?
I'm prepared to scour the earth for that moment.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I break your concentration?
Get down, get down. You got a corpse in a car, minus the head in the garage. Take me to it.
Don't you hate that?
Hey, what?
Uncomfortable silences.
Starring Mary Barone. 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 And Mary Barone.
Die, you mother!
In a new film from Adonis Paul. Sulk Fiction.
Welcome, everyone. It is your boy Rickzilla with another spectacular stream. As you know, it is Sunday, and Sunday I usually do these merry streams where I take a look at some of the classic Adrastia moments. And of course, it is a special one since the main star is none other than Adonis motherfucking Paul. This is a shout out to Adonis Paul for pissing off the bitch longer than most of us have. And this was her, and this is her reacting to some of the shit that Adonis has said.
Alright, so there's no point in having my face on in this video. I just wanted to go ahead and respond to the bullshit allegation.
And there's no point in showing my face here since, well, I gotta conserve on light. That way it could make it look better.
Alright, so first off, yes, you did start out by saying that you believe I have borderline personality disorder. That has nothing to do with the CPTSD, which is my main problem. And you also state that I am choosing the life that I am living. I am choosing to be homeless, which means that you do not believe that I have severe mental issues, because if you did, you would not also believe that I was choosing to be homeless. Since I am homeless due to my mental issues, I cannot work because I am not mentally stable enough to hold a job.
That didn't stop you from working at a restaurant. That didn't stop you from working 2 jobs when you were still married to Steven. That didn't stop you from, I don't know, acting as a caregiver for Roberta right before you told Kenneth to get rid of her, which he did. So yeah, you have the capabilities of getting a job. You just choose not to. Mental illness or not, you still have the capabilities. You do have the capabilities to get a job. It's just you're too lazy and too stupid to put in the effort. I know I'm going harsh on her, but again, she is detestable. She is by far one of the most detestable people. Yes, bro guy, she literally chose to be homeless. And she has admitted that she chose to be homeless.
I am scared of human beings. Everybody. I feel like everybody hates me.
Well, everybody does hate you.
And I pulled up a couple of things to show where you have lied multiple times.
Technically, everybody hates you, Mary Barone. Rightfully so. Rightfully so. Also, this one goes, yes, you're right, bro guy. She deserves the harsh shit. She does deserve the harsh shit.
Adrastia claims to have been diagnosed with borderline personality disorder and is on medication for it currently.
Claims. It's not just a claim. I have been diagnosed. I have been diagnosed with CPTSD.
Complex personality disorder is not a real thing. Or compound. Sorry, compound. Let me take a look at that. Complex personality disorder. That's the real thing. But your doctor, Tanisha, see? Now let's try compound. Compound personality. See, it's complex PT, post-traumatic stress disorder. Again, it's complex, not compound.
Borderline personality disorder.
You claim, it's been confirmed that you never did get tested to see whether or not you do have PTSD. And you claim that you have complex. Again, not a real thing. Compound is not a real thing to say. You mean complex post-traumatic stress disorder.
Bipolar disorder.
She has all the ailments. She claims to be borderline personality disorder like Shani. She claims to have CPTSD. She claims to be bipolar. She claims to be schizophrenic. Anything she could say. And also she claimed to be autistic.
I have been labeled permanently disabled.
Disabled?
The person that you keep saying is just borderline personality and choosing to be homeless has doctor's papers saying she is permanently disabled due to her mental illness.
That's not what that is, you dumb bitch. That's not how that works. And I did a review on, and I did a live watching of, actually not a review, but a watch party of this documentary. And I will do another watch party for whenever when AP inevitably does part 3, because that will probably be the epic conclusion before he decides to call it quits with Mary. Like, I mean, he's already done with Mary, and I think he's already done with Gasuba. I'm just carrying the load for both of them. I mean, Aunt Kathy has basically destroyed Mary, but I'm just recapping for anyone who's still new to Adrastia. A link. You want to come in? A link? You want to come in? Oh, sure.
And I believe this. I believe this. I believe she suffered some manner of abuse as a child. I believe she suffered some manner of abuse as a child.
Some manner. You do not believe what actually happened.
No, this is StreamYards, Draven. This is StreamYards, so you can come in all you want. Let me just send it in Discord. Okay.
But you believe some manner. You believe maybe I was spanked. You believe maybe I was touched. You don't believe it was absolute hell.
And all that complaining you do about your family doesn't acknowledge it? As nothing about this psycho gives me the impression that she had a happy, healthy childhood. And her family has recently confirmed that's possible.
No, my family has not confirmed the abuse that they know has happened. This is my book.
I will never stop screaming. I sent the link in the Discord, Draven, if you want to come in. I already sent the link in the Discord, the invite in the Discord, in case you want to come in.
That I published in January of last year. The very first review.
Hey,
What is
dude.
What is up, Draven?
Nothing. I've just been lurking about places.
Okay.
I was gonna go live, but I'm like, whatever. I'm tired. I'll just come by your live and see what you're doing.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the. I'm just doing my Mary stream, which is, of course, covering some of the classic hits of Adrasia from when she was going off on the warpath against the people that disprove her BS.
Oh.
Yeah, she's kind of crazy. And I showed you the documentary. I showed you like the documentary on her, right?
No. I mean, I know you told me something about that she was killing somebody.
No, she didn't kill anybody.
Oh.
She was an accomplice to murder.
Oh. I know, man. She's like your favorite lolcow.
Yeah, she is my favorite locale. She's even she's better to me. I prefer her over Shani any day. At least.
Did you see what Shani that video she did? Like, oh, like it was like a short. It's a short, but like.
You mean like yeah? I saw that.
Yeah, it's gross.
Yeah, why? She still thinks she's a supermodel.
But dude, you can't be a Christian and have like your fat out trying to pretend like those are boobs, and then like be all like, I don't know what that camera work was. It was like very, I don't know, like Tourette syndrome, because it's like a zoom in of her face and a zoom in of her boobs and a zoom in of her mole.
I know. It's just crazy. But then again, Shani is, I guess you could say, a sexual deviant in my eyes.
Well, I'm surprised that she's never made a video about you, came at you. Why don't she attack you, Ricky?
Because she doesn't know who I am.
You got to go after her. You got to like make a video or write something. Be like, Shani, watch my video.
No. I don't want her anywhere near me. I'm fine with my other stuff.
All right. Well, let's get back to your Adrasia. This is Adrasia?
Yeah. Adrasia, she's reacting to the documentary that Adonis Paul made on her.
Oh, is she able to still stream on YouTube, or she demonetized or whatever, kicked off?
No, she's still on YouTube. She's just barely she's just making like short videos, but that's just it.
Okay, well,
this is a revived channel. For videos that she privatized. For most of the videos that she had privatized.
After I published the book, was my
She's referring
aunt
to her book,
who says the definition of a book listed as nonfiction is a writing about facts and real events. With first-hand knowledge, this is a very short account of a fictional story. So this is my aunt 2 days after my book was published, openly telling the world that it is all lies, and also
Well, technically, it was all lies, Mary, because that work, your book, your story, your life story isn't your story. It was Dave Pelzer's story. Dave Pelzer was the author to the autobiography A Child Called It. And she basically, I don't know, I wouldn't say plagiarized, but most of the stuff but what she's describing in her book didn't really happen to her in real life.
Oh. Well,
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not sure about this person. She kind of confuses me.
She does confuse everybody because she basically is known to be a pathological liar.
Hey, Ricky, do you know that Rick guy, the other Rick guy? He's like Rick Big Tuba or Big Bass Tuba.
No.
Oh. Okay. No, he's just another fucking lolcow I found today. Dude, there's a lot of these people, but you know what? I can almost understand because of the, climate. I just kind of like, I could say, well, I don't know everything, but I try the best I can. But I guess I get annoyed with people like this that I guess do things without any consciousness of what they're doing.
Yeah, people like Adrazia, she does this on a whim. She doesn't think about what she's doing. She just picks up the camera and then does it on a whim.
Adding her name to the book that has absolutely no names in it. It has my first name here, that I'm Mary, but other than that, I only go by Adrazia in this book. Had they never posted this and put their name on it, nobody would even know that Kathy was related to me, because Kathy's name was not in that book. Neither were my sisters or my father's or Kenneth's or anybody else's. The only name in that book was a dog.
Yeah, about that. Most of the parts about, okay, I still am just trying to process this, but what she's talking about is, of course, she refers to them. She doesn't refer to them by names in her book but she does this. She just blurts out their names when she's doing her videos, trying to disprove people, which basically I don't know if that's doxing or not, but Kathy,
it's definitely something.
Aunt Kathy, Aunt Kathy's a sweet woman. I mean, she basically pointed out all of Mary's bullshit. Mary is Adrazia, by the way.
Yeah.
She's pointed everything, all of Mary's bullshit. And she has a YouTube channel called Aunt Kathy's Storytime. She usually makes videos talking about her life, but she does make the time to debunk all of Mary's claims.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm not, I'm still just coming in new.
You're good. You're good. This is a learning experience for both of us. And I've already seen this documentary so many times.
Lee even says that's probably true.
My family has not said that is probably true. My family has said repeatedly that I am lying about everything. They have said repeatedly that I am lying about everything.
She lies about everything.
As a child. A lot of people in your family were, from what I understand. She has a pretty mad.
Yeah, they were, because I have an extremely fucked up family on all branches of the fucking tree.
The individuals in your family, and I'm sorry for that, but you cannot let what happens when you're a child dictate your adulthood to us.
He's right. You can't let what happened to you in the past dictate what you do right now. And that's something Mary refuses to do. She refuses to let go of the past. It's like a perpetual loop with her. It's a vicious cycle.
No, you can't. You're supposed to seek therapy and heal, which is what I'm trying to do. And while I'm trying to heal,
By the way, the therapy she's seeking is like a free therapy that the government pays for. Like, um, she lives in LA right now,
Yeah.
which of course I've talked about. She lives in LA. The reason why she went to LA was to get free Medicare and get free weed.
Well, I mean, it is the time.
Yeah.
I mean, you gotta remember that, Ricky. There's people out there that are really suffering. I mean,
know.
without going too far into what's happening, and I hate doing that. I think that fucking sucks that I can't talk about whatever without offending whoever. But there is some fucked up shit going out the outside right now, like some really fucked up shit, and it's hard for me to kind of look at somebody what they're doing because of there's some really fucked up shit. It's not a normal time. If this was like 2007, I'd be like, yeah, man, she's fucking nuts. But even sometimes you'll catch me doing something weird because it's like end times out there.
Don't get me wrong. Yeah, don't get me wrong. I seek therapy that is paid for by the government, but when it comes to Mary, when she talks with her therapist, it's obvious that her therapist probably knows what's going on, and she's just trying to like agree with her. You look like how Shani kept saying that she's seeking therapy, which was a court mandated therapy.
Therapy, yeah,
and it's kind of like this, but. You know how Shani would lie to her therapist?
The rapist? Yes.
Yeah. That's basically what this is. She's kind of like exacerbating the story.
I can't go to a therapist because I feel like they're just sitting there collecting money and, they're just listening.
Yeah,
exactly. And all they're going to do is recommend some bullshit. What you really need to do is go to a psychiatrist because you'll actually get some medication.
Exactly. That's basically what I've been saying. A psychiatrist.
Well, because they'll give you drugs.
Exactly. And that's probably why she wanted to get the free therapy, was to get the stuff for weed.
I mean, I get you, but like, I don't know how. I know, Ricky, you and me never really talked about it. Like, I'm a big marijuana advocate, but I have a medical card. I have skin cancer, so it's totally legal and okay for me to do it. But I can understand somebody who, I guess, is not. But then again, I feel like it shouldn't be. Oh, you're smoking a little pot. Let's go to jail.
It's not that. That's not it. It's
okay.
Something you got it. It's not for that. It's because she's smoking weed, but it's not doing anything for her. It's not doing anything for her. I mean, if she claims to have all these disorders, like, I don't think weed is the proper thing that would treat it. It could calm your nerves, but you got to know your body. You got to know your body and how it reacts.
That's sure. Yeah, you always need to know if you're going to freak out.
Yeah, that's basically what I've been seeing with Mary, is that if she's smoking weed, then she has to know whether it's right for her body, because I've seen a lot of her videos where she is freaking out, where she is in a panic and she's screaming.
Anxiety.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she probably just needs to like smoke a little weed and take a Xanax. Yeah, well, some people they will but that depends on the strain. I know if I have some indica in the morning, it's gonna make me like, whoa. But then if I have some indica at night, then it's a little bit different. because there's like 3 different kinds of strains of weed. There's the indica, which is for like nighttime, sativa for like the daytime, and then there's like a hybrid, which is like both of them mixed together.
Yes.
So I can see if she took it and then she got all anxious. But then again, if she's buying it illegally off the street, it can always be laced with stuff.
And speaking of that, yes, she has done that before. She has. When she was living in Florida, she would give favors for pot money and on Craigslist. On Craigslist. Yeah. And one thing you know about Craigslist is sometimes that you gotta think twice when you buy something or advertise on Craigslist.
Yo, you ever hear of the Craigslist killer? I know.
Yeah, that's basically. And speaking of Craigslist killer, I did talk about the time she hooked up with a guy who murdered his fiance.
She hooked up with the Craigslist killer?
No, not really, but he did murder his 46-year-old fiance with cerebral palsy.
The fuck?
Yeah,
really?
In the documentary, there were like AP or Adonis Paul talked about the murder where he was going over the case, and in that case, he found out that Mary was sending emails to this guy, the murderer, to get rid of his handicapped fiance.
What? Why? Because she wanted the handicapped fiance, or no, she wanted the other guy.
No, yeah, she wanted the
dick.
Yeah, and the guy that she was sleeping around with was a convicted child predator who was he was incarcerated in 98 for raping a 12-year-old. Before that, she was married to a man who was hooking up with a 16-year-old girl while she was still married to him. On the day they got married, she was driving him over to the girl's house for like relations. And
how'd you find all this out?
I watched the documentary, and of course, I watched Hatman's video on her. Yeah.
Yo, is that who you have in your thumbnail? That elf-looking thing?
Yeah.
Is that her?
Well, that was an animated, like a Sims version of her.
Oh.
Yeah, that's her.
I'm constantly being hated and told that I deserve to suffer and I deserve to die. And being pushed and harassed by my family.
By the way, whenever she talks about how her family is abusive to her, in actuality, the abuse that her family does to her is telling the truth about her.
Oh, what truth? Or whatever.
That she's a horrible person, that she's manipulative, that she gaslights people, and she basically falsely accuses people of crimes they didn't commit.
Hey, my go-to is this. You know, don't have you can have a persona on the internet, but remember, it's going out to all sorts of people. It is okay to not share your information because people will take that and be weird with it. I say just, keep the public stuff public and the private stuff private, and don't ever mix the two, because then it does look bad, because you don't know the difference between if somebody's is real or if they're just saying this stuff for views and clicks and clout and all that.
Yeah, that's the thing. This bitch is off her rocker. She is really off her rocker. And her family has confirmed that she has been known to be a liar.
Well, lie about what? About the sexual stuff or the
Yes,
drugs or
she
everything?
lied about how her father touched her, even, and she lied about how her father abused her mother, which has never been confirmed by anyone. If it was, there would have been a police report.
Well, so she went online and started saying this, like on her channel.
Yes. Yes.
So, like, okay, like paint this picture for me, Ricky. What kind of channel is Adonis? Like, is
It's
she
like a vlog channel.
okay?
And
So it's not really for drama. Like, you know how Shani tries to pretend her channel's for Christianity, whatever, like Christian, not even Christian thesis, because she doesn't do any of that. She'll read from the Bible and then talk shit.
yeah, exactly.
But
Kind of
okay,
like
so
that.
what she does is tries it like vlogs, like daily, whatever she's doing. But then in her daily vlog, she'll bring up drama.
Yeah.
Okay.
She'll bring up drama. She'll have a freak out over drama.
Certain to a reasonable level. I understand trauma happens, but you are over the top.
No, you don't. If you understood trauma happened, you would not be making this video about me and saying these things about me.
What you're saying.
Because I know that that's what you want.
We don't want you to kill yourself, Adrastius.
Yes, you do.
Nobody wants her to kill herself. And that's another thing she likes to lie about. She always likes to lie that people want her to kill herself, but they just I mean, yes, it's immature to laugh at her, to make fun of her, but she basically provokes this. She provokes a response from people. And she overreacts every time someone says something about her. And
yes, you do. And I could go to one of your videos from the I believe it's the last live stream you did. You said, I want to see this hoe bleed. That's a quote, motherfucker. You said, I want to see this hoe bleed.
He was calling her bluff.
I want to see this hoe bleed.
Yeah, he's basically calling her bluff because AP knows that Adrasia can't really harm herself. She doesn't even know how to harm herself. She's a scratcher.
I thought you were going to say, he knows that hoe can't bleed.
Yeah, that too. But she's a scratcher. Kind of like Shani, except she scratches herself with a knife sideways, not diagonally. She does it across the street, not down the road.
Oh, you're talking about scratching herself.
Yeah, she scratches herself. Yeah, I mean, you know how Shani always likes to show off her scratch marks and make it look like suicide? Slit wrists theory? She's kind of like that. She's kind of like that.
I saw a video of the Sydney Winston. You know that channel?
Yeah.
Yeah, he did a video a couple months ago, but I was watching it about like the downfall of Rev and Shani, and there was a part in like an earlier, probably like in January of this year, where Shani was talking to the audience and Rev was in the background, and she said something that pissed him off, and he's like, well, how about if I started slitting my wrist, would that be great? And then she gave him this look like she was really angry, and then he kept going. He's like, yeah, how about if I was cutting myself like my wife here? And she I don't know if that was not false, but maybe she wasn't cutting herself the way that would cause damage.
Exactly. She kind of does that. She was upset. I think Shani was upset that Reb said something that because that's her thing. Only she can use the slit wrist sympathy pity party thing.
Yeah.
She's entitled to that. Like she's entitled to the N-word.
Stop.
I suffer as much as possible because you don't see me as a mentally unwell person that is struggling and alone.
And actually, you had bots, like 20 bots, come to my channel and tell me Adonis wants blood over and over and over again. But you don't want me to hurt myself? You don't want me to bleed?
Actually, I do.
Yeah, I know you do.
You see me?
But at one point, after watching 4 years, 1,900 of your videos, you need to take responsibility for your own life and stop waiting for people to hand it to you.
I'm trying.
She is not trying. She never does try to take responsibility, because if she takes responsibility, she wouldn't be in this situation.
Who's this Adonis Paul?
Adonis Paul is a YouTuber who has a late night show.
Okay.
And then
That's we all.
Yeah, but he likes to look at current events and addresses them in a more conservative manner.
So she went on his show, like he was interviewing her.
Yeah, no, she didn't really interview. He didn't really interview her. He found her and looked at some of her videos and made a few jokes about it. And he wasn't the only one. Adonis Paul wasn't the only one who did this. There's this podcast, this YouTube radio show called Daywave Radio. And two of the hosts, one was Jeremiah Johnson, JJ Stoner, who found one of her videos from when she was walking the streets of LA, and he introduced
well, hey,
Ricky,
I was gonna ask you this. Sorry to cut you off, but this when you just said Stoner, I was just thinking about something I wanted to ask you. If Stoner. It's okay, what's your stance on marijuana?
I'm all for it. It's just I don't smoke it, but
You're all for it, like responsibly and not in front of
I'm not opposed to it.
Yeah.
I know a lot of right-wing right-winger YouTubers like to smoke a lot of weed. That's how you get through the craziness.
Yeah, well, isn't it more than I see all sorts of people smoking.
Yeah.
No, I just, so you're saying, as long as someone does it responsibly, like I told you, like I have it medically, but I've never smoked it in front of kids.
Yeah. Because, as long as you don't smoke it 24/7 like Shani and Reb did.
Well, is that what Adrasia is doing? Is she smoking 24/7? Is that what you're trying to?
Well, yeah, because she, in a sense, yeah, but
she's doing stronger stuff.
Well, it's weaker stuff.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, JJ Stoner was the one who founded Adrasia, and introduced the internet to her. He presented Adrasia on the show that he co-hosts called Daywave Radio, which is a morning show, much similar to the Morning Wood, but it's hosted by a Floridian Cuban named Royce Lopez, who looks like a bald-headed version of DJ Khaled.
Well, hey Ricky, I actually got to get going. I got to wake up early and bring my kid to school. But thank you for having me on. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
And I guess
you're always welcome.
The video.
All right, thank you. Thank you for.
Right. Yeah, no, that's fun. Like I said, I know you cover her, and I figure I'll come in and see what's up. And like I said, I didn't feel like going live, and I saw you were. But thank you for having me on.
You're welcome. It's always my pleasure.
Have a good one, dude.
All right, see you later. Oh, hey, Mandy, what is up? It's good to see you here. All right, if you don't know who this is, Mandy Momo, this is Adrasia. She is mentally unstable. She is a pathological liar, and she is one of the cows that my other community covers. The people who are in a Hatman's community, they like to make jokes about her.
Literally
because she basically is a walking punchline. She does this to herself.
trying. I have been trying. I have been on my own. I'm not. It's not all just being handed to me. Just because I'm not able to work, not everybody who has PTSD is able to go back into the workforce on their own right away. A lot of people with PTSD need to be worked back into society.
Exactly. And that's the thing. There are people who do have PTSD who are able to work. They get it, but that's because they get treated. They seek treatment for the PTSD.
I have
proper treatment, not free clinic therapy, like drive-through therapy. Actual professionals.
Have no chance of being worked back into society.
No, Mary, you don't want to work. That's the thing. You have the potential to work. You just don't want to work. You don't want to get better, Mary. She just likes to get worse and worse. And
I am not a functional human being. I can't have friends. I can't speak to another human being without fully believing that they hate me and want to hurt me.
everybody wants to hurt Mary in her book, in her own stories, because everybody is the spawn of Satan. I'm pretty sure some of Hatman's fans already know who this bitch is. And
here's your biggest problem, Adrastia. You still think like a fucking child.
And I agree. She does think like a child. And I forgot to mention that when I was talking to Draven, is that she has this childlike mindset. And as I kept saying, much like Shani, she is not normal. Adrastia is what I would refer to as an adult child or an adult toddler, or as what Jordan Pearson would refer to as an old infant.
You're still waiting for somebody to pick up the pieces for you and make it all better. No one's going to love you at 36 years old.
No, nobody is.
36 years old. This woman is almost 40 years old, and she still acts like a toddler. Hell, in one of the videos where she's crying, she said, "I was a baby." And technically, I still am. Technically, she still is a baby mentally because she's not emotionally mature, according to what she says. Well, she chooses not to be because
nobody is going to love me ever.
Well, I could see why nobody loves her. It's because, well, she shuts everyone out. She basically alienated almost everyone who has tried to help her. Everyone has tried to help this bitch, but she refuses to take the advice, and she accuses everyone of harming her, of harassing her, of raping her, whatnot.
Because nobody has ever loved me. I have never known what it feels like to be truly loved. So how am I supposed to know how to love myself? And yes, my emotional stability is that of a child. I'm working on it, but that's a big part of my mental illness is that you don't believe I suffer from as much as I do. I am not an adult. I am not mentally a functional adult. I am not 36 years old.
Yes, we know. Physically, you are, but psychologically, you're basically a toddler. And yes, she did say she's still a baby mentally. If that's the case, then you should be wearing a diaper and have like a babysitter or a caregiver take care of you. I mean, this bitch shouldn't be on her own. She shouldn't be on her own.
And I most likely never will be. My emotional growth has been stunted by the amount of trauma.
Right, Lock On Stratos? Right? Maybe that's why she has an affinity for pedophiles, Lock On Stratos. Because, well, remember that picture? Oh, wait, no. Remember when AP and Virgie and Mersh and JJ did that 4-hour stream on Adrazia? Were you there when that happened? It was on Virgie's channel. And they were talking about a picture of Mary in like a lolicon outfit or something like that. I don't know.
That I went through. There were moments in high school where I would completely go blank. I was in class one day and I don't even know what I was thinking about, but I must have just been staring. And the teacher slammed his hands down on my desk and I jumped and he realized, like, I think he thought I was just dozing off, but I was like 1,000 yards staring.
We get it, Mary. You had a shitty home life. That doesn't dictate what you are, what you should be.
And that teacher realized there was something happening, and he tried to have a talk with me after class, but I couldn't tell him anything. I couldn't ever tell anybody anything. When you're that traumatized and you stop progressing. I stopped progressing in age very young.
And you started regressing in age.
Mentally. Physically, I'm going to keep getting older.
And that's sad. And that's sad, Mary. You're going to get older, and then you're going to still act like this. And you will basically be the living definition of that term, that Jordan Peterson term. The term that Jordan Peterson coined. Sorry, Peterson. Jordan Peterson coined this term that really suits someone like you, Mary Barone. I think it's called old infant. Oh, yeah, I said that before. Old infant.
You love yourself. Nobody's going to respect you at 36 years old unless you respect yourself. You are trying to play a child's game, and you're pushing 40.
Is a liar.
There is absolutely nothing to love or respect about me, and I know this. I have hated myself for most of my life because everybody in my life hated me. Growing up as a child, I
don't buy that one bit. According to what Aunt Kathy said, Mary has always been... What's the word I've been looking for? A spoiled brat. So, yeah. Now I can see why she doesn't have a good home life. Was because Mima spoiled her rotten to the point where she expects everything to be handed to her.
Believed I was hated by everybody. I have never felt loved or wanted. So how am I supposed to know what it is?
She's a woman baby at this point, bro guy. She's a woman. All right, let's hear what Bro Guy said. Bro, you mean man-child? It's the same thing. Woman-child doesn't roll off the tongue as well, though. I agree. I'd say an adult baby, but not in an ABDL or DDLG kind of way. I meant a literal, and I don't mean like the literal term where she's wearing a diaper and shitting and pissing herself and getting off on that kind of shit. I meant like psychologically, she is still an infant. And God forbid if she does wear a diaper. I think AP has expressed that she doesn't wear underwear. Maybe there might be some validity to that claim, but who knows? She could be. Maybe she's wearing maybe that's why she's pissing in the cup. Maybe that's why she pisses in the cup and shits in a bowl. Because she doesn't have it, because she can't afford to buy diapers for herself.
How to feel it or how to give it.
And a scam artist and a person who does not deserve life.
She is a scam artist. She is a scam artist. She puts on this whole fake pity party just so that her quote unquote simps could donate money to her PayPal just for weed.
And that's how everybody is going to see me for the rest of my life.
Because somebody made a YouTube video with 1,000 views on it?
Yes. 1,000 views in the first couple of hours. And all of these comments, they're going to be spreading it around. YouTube gets around.
And let's not forget, the fact that this bitch has been trolled to oblivion, yeah, that sucks. And that's harsh, but anyone with half a brain would know that the only way to deal with trolls is to not respond. This bitch has responded to so many troll calls when she was still living in the truck. And she still doesn't know, she still hasn't learned her lesson. I mean, excuse me, Chile. Anyone who has learned about this whole shit, about what it's like to talk to a troll, anyone should know that you never, ever provoke the trolls. You should never, ever feed the trolls. That's how you become known as a lolcow, is the more people find out how you can react to this, the more you're going to get people fucking with you.
My videos mostly only go on YouTube and they've been seen by thousands of people. Just because
I shouldn't talk big about being a lolcow.
Because 1,000 people watched it in the first day doesn't mean that by the end of the month that won't be 20,000 or 30,000.
That's how no one is ever going to believe you again.
Yeah.
Nobody does believe her. No one ever did believe her because, again, as I explained to Draven earlier, is that she has been known to be a pathological liar. And there has been confirmation that she lied. There's a police report about the murder of Roberta Laws, where it basically tells the truth about the events that transpired. And Virgie and AP did a stream where they looked through the police report and compared it to what Adrasia wrote in her so-called book. And the claims that she has made in those books contradict the actual reports. It's almost as though it was all bullshit.
Yes. Because you're telling all of those people that I'm not mentally ill as I say I am. I'm just a scam artist. I'm just lazy and choosing to be homeless.
Well, he's not wrong, Mary Barone. He is not wrong about there. You are lazy, you are a scam artist, and you chose to be homeless.
They left out the most important parts and lied about the others.
It's 3 hours of your video
that you edited and you prefaced with lies by saying that I was choosing this life, that I was choosing to not get a job and just...
Hold on. Lock on Strato says, Mary owes us some self-inflicted punches. Oh, yes. She definitely owes us a lot of punches. She owes us a lot of punches. And yes, I have been known to be self-aware at times. I acknowledge my mistakes. I mean, we're only human. That's why we always have to make the best of it. We gotta think twice.
Work my way out of it.
If you're gonna call me a liar, I'm pointing that finger right back at you. It's all your footage.
It is not all my footage because it starts with you telling everybody that I am a lazy scam artist that just doesn't want to work, that might have borderline personality disorder, that's not near the scale of the mental issues that I'm dealing with.
That message.
Take a shot every time she sniffs. Take a shot every time she sniffs. All right, no, scratch that. Don't take any shot. I don't want to be responsible for the demise for alcohol poisoning. I really don't want to be acquitted for the slaughter. Oh, wait, no. What the hell? Non-alcoholic beverages.
That I said was from my sister, that he said was not from my sister, was from my...
Okay, now, Lock on Stratos also said Mary was handed an opportunity to claim her mother's property and was given money to help pay the taxes and mortgages. Of course, she squandered it and wasted her money on bullshit. Oh, okay, so yeah. Oh, good. Good on you, bro guy. You don't have to worry about having to damage your liver. Lock on Strauss also says she would rather live in a truck and shit in a bowl than take on the responsibility of being a homeowner. Exactly.
My sister.
Turns out it wasn't from your sister.
Turns out it was from my sister. And I'll show you that one too, because obviously I have to show everything. The video is called Lawyers Are Private. And yes, it is my sister. And yes, she did sue me. And yes, they did win because I couldn't show up. It's only a 6-minute video.
So I thought I would show y'all how the rest of that conversation panned out. I bragged to her about having weed because it pissed her off.
Sorry.
Let's see. She says I won't get a penny. I said I don't want pennies, I want bills, and there's nothing you can do to stop it. She says they already have. I need music. Sorry, hold on.
Also, yeah, her sister was upset that she ran away from home. Instead of actually taking full responsibility, she ran away from home to be homeless in the streets of LA instead of taking full responsibility as an adult, because we all know goddamn well she isn't an adult mentally.
This is just after they told me in the other video that they were going to read the will, and I'll go over to that in the video all about the will.
Anyways. Let's see. There's people looking for you here. You won't be safe. I don't care.
Oh, what if?
I'll take care of you myself if I have to.
Yes, this is my little sister threatening to kill me if I show up to the will reading.
I'm not scared of you. You were always weak. See, she's constantly threatening. Let's see here. What's the...
That music doesn't really fit this.
Okay, you're going to claim a police report is a lie in your lawsuit. How do you think that will pan out when the information is all there to be looked up and validated? Your case has no merit, and I doubt a lawyer would take it. She says, I already have a lawyer. I have proof of your lies. My lawyer says I have a strong case. Really? And your lawyer has read my book, which includes no names, and is aware you can't sue for defamation on behalf of a dead person, and is also aware that you can't take a homeless person's shelter or SSI benefits. Your lawyer knows all that and took the case. A truck illegally parked is not a shelter. Untrue. I live in the truck. It's my shelter and my only asset. No lawyer could touch it.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's not your property, Mary. It's not your property. Someone lent you that truck until you got on your feet, which you didn't do, and the church had to call the original owner, and the original owner took it back.
Also, for defamation lawsuit, you have to prove that
When he found out that you were pissing and shitting in his truck.
I caused damage to your reputation. And since I can pull up a mugshot from you being arrested at 18, I'm pretty sure your reputation was fairly well set before I wrote my book. You did damage my reputation. You're just a selfish bitch, which is why you'll get nothing in the end. How have I damaged your reputation? Have you lost a job because of my book? Lost a spouse or a close friend? Are you stopped in the streets to ask if you're related to me?
Don't ask what I've been doing.
How, aside from your feelings, has my book affected your life? You caused emotional pain, and yes, people who know ask judgments about it. You will lose the case my lawyer said he could win. Emotional pain is not defamation, but fine, we will see. It's sad you think you have a case. I think it's sad your lawyer is taking your money when no decent lawyer would look at this because there's no merit. He's dead, so you can't sue for anything about him, and the majority of the book is me. People who know. So not random people, but people who knew us growing up sometimes ask you how I'm doing. And you think that's the same as having your reputation defamed. I sold 32 books. So one of those 32 people has asked you, not anyone important like a boss, building manager. There's absolutely been no effect on your life. You could even just deny me. You only have one sister. Don't know anyone named Adrasdia. We will, the judge and jury, decide my lawyer is much better than some homeless bitch in a truck. We'll see till then. Goodbye, bitch.
Yep. Again, the sister was mad that Mary abandoned the family to be homeless in LA.
Does your lawyer know that I've left you alone entirely, yet you've had to use multiple numbers?
What is up, widow's son? How are you doing on this fine evening? I hope you're doing well. I mean, I know you weren't feeling 100%, and I just want to check to see if you're okay. Are you taking a little time off? Are you taking your little break to check up on me? Check up on little old me?
To continue
I'm just
harassing
kidding,
me because
but
I block you. It doesn't matter. He will. I save all these messages.
good for you. Good for you, widow son. I mean, rest is important. Rest is always important, especially in this time, especially for someone in your state. I mean, me, I rarely rest. I mean, after being hopped up on Mountain Dew, being wired on Mountain Dew, I mean,
Every threat, every new number, are you showing you who you are, full of rage and wanting to fight. That's not a character I created or defamed. That's you.
Wow. I'm gonna say happy birthday. I should be the first one to say happy birthday for Saturday. I mean,
Which is why you're
happy early birthday.
being sued. Defamation. You caused emotional pain from all your lies. I have proof. That's all I need for my case. You did this to me. Okay, so now she's claiming that I'm the one that made her this angry. Emotional pain isn't defamation. And I have messages from you threatening me years ago, before the book. So no, I didn't create the person you are today.
Nobody created the person she is today. Mary did this to herself. Mary became this person because of her selfishness, because of her laziness, and because of the fact that, again, her childlike attitude towards everything.
Who is your lawyer? I'd like to contact them and find out what I can do to rectify the situation legally. It don't matter. Come next month, you won't make it to the office and you'll be labeled as missing, giving us the right to what's ours, not yours. You will know who my lawyer is when you...
That doesn't sound like a threat. That doesn't sound like she wanted to kill her. That sounded like a warning to me. That kind of sounds more like a warning than a threat. Like she's warning her not to pursue this. Otherwise, someone who probably might not have the right mindset will do something really, really dramatic. So it doesn't even sound like a threat. Maybe it does, but who knows?
You need to know. I'll be there for the will reading. I'd like to confer with your lawyer before then so we can have a meeting around the same time. Can I have the number, please? No. Why not? Lawyers are meant to be private. If you have an issue, get a lawyer and my lawyer will contact your lawyer. Not really. If you're suing me, I have every right to know who I'm dealing with and to speak to them outside of a court proceeding. It doesn't have to go to court. Kathy helped me, just so you know, you're fucked. The only way I will not take you to court is if you sign a paper saying it's all mine, and then and only then will I leave you alone. Let me speak to the lawyer about it, please. Just give me a name and I can Google the number. No, the only thing I will tell you is the firm. I won't be retaining a lawyer myself. I'll be defending myself. Therefore, I'll be the one the lawyer speaks to. Okay, what firm is it? It's Go Fuck Yourself. Yeah. Please stop messaging me. You don't have a lawyer or a case. If you did...
Okay, so... Yes, those messages were from my little sister.
And, of course, that was because, yeah, she's just telling her to leave her the fuck alone. Stop bringing up the family. Stop bringing up the bullshit. Stop lying about them. That's all she wanted from Mary.
Me and her were messaging a lot. Back here on the in the video all about the will, there's also a lot of messages from me and my family is being extremely hateful.
I don't blame them for being hateful. I mean, you basically have lied to them. You basically have lied about your family and how they mistreated you, how they sexually abused you and beaten you. So, yeah. I could see why you're... No! No, man. I was just...
There is a full 30-minute video of me reading messages from her.
The 30-minute video is the 51-minute video all about the will.
Her proving how hateful.
I do have that video where you read 30 minutes of messages between you and your sister. That let's address that real quick. Address you lying fucking whore. Okay.
Are you up? No. No, bro guy. It's not that.
The video you are referencing, where you get a message not from your sister. Let's see, you were in the car. It was before the
It was
note.
my sister.
Oh, I didn't even get to this, but I'll fuck your shit up real quick.
I was looking for some pieces.
Okay, it was 7/01/2020. I'm being threatened. Okay, let's read the messages from your sister. Scrolling, we're into October now.
I had to get some stuff.
Yeah, that was October 2020. In a video.
Like I said, I'm an avid collector of action figures. It's a hobby of mine. I just like to, because when it comes to talking about Mary, you know, most of the shit that she says is boring. So I just gotta assimilate my hobby while listening to Mary's ramblings.
Video entitled, "I have no responsibility to be nice to my harasser."
No, that is not my sister. The video about
yes, I was trying
have no
to
reason to be reason to be nice to my harasser is about somebody entirely different. I have no idea who that person is, but they called me daily for months before I finally changed my number. So again, you're full of shit. And I have already proved that those messages from my sister are from my sister. And
cool.
that, yes, they said at one point that
sweet, Lock On Stratos. We all got to have a hobby. We all got to collect some stuff. I mean, I would have loved to have collected some vintage comic books too. And I do, but I don't show them or I don't plaster them on my wall.
they were suing me for defamation, but what they were actually doing was contesting.
It's not a lawsuit. It's basically, they're trying to tell you to stop lying about them, Mary Barone. And you do the exact opposite of what they tell you.
Testing the will, and they made sure that I would never receive any paperwork for the contestant of the will, because if I had been able to show up, I would have gotten everything I was supposed to get. They told
you did get money and the property, and they told you to figure it out. And instead of being a homeowner of of Mima's property, instead of actually taking care of the property, you left that damn condo to rot. And you chose to live in a tent outside of outside where you get fucked by a bunch of crackheads just for some weed money.
Told me it was happening. They would not tell me where to go, when to be there. They sent it to a mailbox that they knew I could not access, and they did everything they could to ensure that I never made it.
Sometimes I could replace the hands on my action figures, and other times I just play with my action figures, just to pass the time, because this bitch is crazy. And it gives me something to do to distract me from going completely off the rails.
Or knew
That or probably draw. Probably draw, work on my sketches.
When the will reading was happening, or the will contesting was happening, so that they could just take everything that they all knew Meemaw wanted me to have.
That may be, but again, they told you to figure it out. They told you to figure it out when they gave you that money. When they gave you the inheritance money, they told you to figure it out. And what did you do? Well, instead of taking care of that property, you tried to sell it. And the money that you were given, you basically have blown it off drugs. And most of the money that you inherited from your Meemaw was, well, how would I say this? Oh yeah, I know. You blew all that inheritance money on drugs. And shit for your cats. Back when you were still living with Misty. And the other cat that died. But, yeah. And most of that stuff was for yourself. It didn't go into paying off the mortgages or property taxes or anything.
Or would it be in the day before, I cannot handle this? Both times you read through a bunch of messages from who you think, well, one of them was from your sister. You and her going.
Well, it must be the other video that was with my sister, because
Well, I remember the last time I tried trading Pokemon cards, but it didn't stick. I'm not usually a card person. One of my brother's friends had a collection of baseball cards that he took back.
One about me being nice to my harassers has absolutely nothing to do with my sister. It was me answering the phone and him being like, oh, you should be nice. You're so mean. I have no reason to be nice to you, motherfucker. You've been calling me fucking 24 hours a day for months. Fuck off.
Back and forth. So 3 months later? Okay. All right, slut. How about we pretend? We'll just pretend you're telling the truth. And the messages.
No, how about you actually watch the videos and stop speaking out your ass?
How about you stop interrupting? How about you stop contradicting yourself, Mary? How about that? How about you shut up and listen to what AP has to say? How about you stop lying and falsely accusing people? Or better yet, how about you stop false flagging people and having their channels terminated? What about that, Mary? Because we all know that you do false flag people's channels as a way to, like, I don't know, silence them so that others won't find out how much of a piece of shit you really are. I know I wasn't going to go all ham on this, but fuck it. She deserves to be roasted.
It came from your YouTube trolls were all your little sister.
No, not all of them. All of them were not, but there were some from her.
You're still fucking crazy.
True.
Yeah, no shit.
Well, true. She is crazy. But she made herself crazier by, I don't know, by feeding the trolls, responding to them 24/7, losing sleep, going out of her way to try and explain herself, and having a meltdown in the process.
But apparently not crazy enough for you to mean that I actually deserve help instead of just ridicule, mocking, hate, and judgment.
Which most of it is deserving, because you've basically spewed hate about your family. You've spewed hate about people you don't even know in real life. And let's not forget the fact that you manipulated and gaslit your sweet, sweet Meemaw to continue to provide for your fantasy. I don't know. It's all just bullshit to me. It is all bullshit. And there's even more bullshit piled on top. As much as I detest you, Mary Barone, I feel I feel a great swell of pity for your family, especially your relatives, your sweet, sweet, sweet Aunt Kathy and her children and her grandchildren for being the targets for your harassment campaign. I feel a great sense of pity for your ailing mother for being the target of you threatening to put her in jail, all because she didn't validate your victimhood. And yes, that's right. This bitch tried to get her own mother arrested. Her ailing mother.
My family is, every time they speak to me, these same people that will say we love her and we just won't.
Jeffy's so mad Vader is right, Adrastia, you whore. If you just unprivate your video collection, we would all know the truth about all of it.
No, it's just my brain keeps racing. I do sound drunk, but I'm just tired. But then again, there's no rest for the weary.
This, and you could be like, no, look, CAP's a fucking liar, but
I unprivated some of them. I'm not going through and unprivating 1,000 videos.
You should have unprivated the video where you were punching yourself in the truck. But we could settle on one of the videos where you were punching yourself, because there are a lot of videos where she punches herself. Hurt, 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 hurt.
So that somebody that hates me can continue making money, torturing me.
Speaking of making money, I
since
forgot
you dumb to do that. Guess I had to. There are parts in this video.
All because Mary doesn't deserve it. Actually, no. On second thought, maybe I'll hold off on that until the end.
Adrastia, where I make very clear, she has privated her videos explaining this, so I am going off memory right now.
Well, you have a really bad memory, or you're intentionally lying.
We could say the same about you, Mary. Remember when you said that you didn't know what happened to Roberta after the murder? You lied and said that you didn't remember partaking in covering up the body. You said you didn't remember buying the shovel. You claimed that you remember everything. What was that thing he said? Your memory is like what was that again? A steel trap. That's what that is. You claim that you have a memory of a steel trap, and yet you also claimed that you didn't remember going to Walmart with Kenneth McBride to purchase a shovel to bury Roberta's body in the backyard. You didn't think I forgot about that? You didn't think I forgot about that? I mean, sorry. You thought I forgot about that.
A lot to make me look like I deserve the kind of pain that I go through.
And then I say,
well, technically, except for the part about the murder, that is Mary. The part about the murder, that is Mary. because I could make a lot of comparisons between Shani and Adrazia, but the one thing that separates the two of them is that Shani never helped bury a body yet.
Please.
That's the one thing that we can take away, is that at least Shani didn't help facilitate a murder yet. If anything, she would be if anything, she'd be the perpetrator of a murder. As a matter of fact, Shani has tried to kill her ex-husband, Chris. Remember the axe?
On private these videos, if there is any inconsistency, I was very, very gentle with you in that documentary.
That's best for
bullshit. Being very.
He was gentle with her. He was being understanding when he made that documentary. He was going off by what he knew from the research he did when making the documentary. He wasn't throwing insults at her. He wasn't telling her to hurt herself. He was going off by what he learned. And he just showed a bunch of the clips from the videos that he gathered, downloaded, and spliced together, along with instrumental versions of popular songs.
Very, very gentle would have been being completely honest in the beginning, not saying that I was choosing to be homeless and choosing
I forgot
to
about
not
that.
work, and just I came to California because I just wanted to sponge off of the system. There was literally no help for me in Florida. I didn't leave Florida because my air conditioner broke. I legitimately thought I was going to die in Florida from the heat. And it's not that hot here. Most of the time in the shelter that day, it was because there was ventilation problems and it was scalding in that place.
her have been working to hurt me the entire time.
You see this thing where you think that your family, you live in LA and they live in Florida, and you think they're chasing you around and working to hurt you, and their whole day is built up around trying to torture you? That's your mental illness.
Then why was I getting messages from them? On Facebook, text messages, here on YouTube, Kathy's showing up, Sarah's showing up.
Well, Kathy and Sarah were the ones that called in to Royce Lopez when he was covering the video that you put out, demanding him to take back the money he gave you, the $50 that he gave you to use your videos for the rest of your life. And you tried to refund him, but he said, and I quote, "I don't want it. Keep the Nazi blood money." And I think JJ also mentioned that it probably had AIDS on it.
Randy's showing up. Over on my Facebook, every couple of months, my Uncle David will like one of my statuses just to remind me that the family is still looking at my Facebook and still watching me. But they're not doing it because they care about me. They're doing it because they want to see if I'm dead yet. They're doing it because they want to see me suffer and hurt.
They're probably doing it to tell you to knock it off. They're probably doing it to tell you to knock it off and quit lying about them. That's probably what they're doing.
Nobody in this family cares about me.
Rightfully so. Because again, nobody should care about you, Mary. No one should ever care about you. how bad of a person do you have to be for even your own family to hate you? I mean, I cannot think of, actually, I can think of a few people who was disowned by their family. There's you, there's Shani, there's Vaughn Helton, and I guess Gasuba at some point, but yeah.
And they never have.
Also, Dayton Hypernova. I almost forgot about Dayton Hypernova. Yeah, I forgot. Yeah, there's a lot of it. I can make a list of all the people who had screwed their families over, whose family didn't want anything to do with them. And I'm surprised that Dayton Hypernova's parents hadn't disowned him for the shit that he has said about them. I'm surprised they hadn't kicked his ass out. Because
nobody's thinking about you, and so you produce these.
I agree. Yes. Thank you for reminding me, Widow's Son. Don't forget to like the stream, folks, and share it with your friends. We got this thing going on that we're trying to reach a wider audience. I'm trying to reach a wider audience, going national, or better yet, going international. If you can share this stream or with your friends, families, loved ones, or anyone overseas and abroad, hell, if you share this with someone from another planet, it would mean the world to me if you share this stream around with everyone in the entire cosmos. And even in the multiverse, if you have any friends that live in another plane of existence, be sure to share this shit around.
These videos.
They sued me.
Untrue. Because everybody, y'all.
We're going multidimensional, Widow's Son. We're going multiverse. We're going into the multiverse. No Way Home type shit. There's no way home now.
Y'all are saying that
Multiverse of Madness.
Kathy has a right to be coming out with all of this because I wrote a book. My book was anonymous. Kathy's name was not in that book. Kathy's children's names were not in that book. My name was not in that book.
Yeah, but you posted it on Facebook saying that it was your book. You gloated about it. And, well, they just found out. And, of course, they reviewed it. And they pointed a lot of bullshit in the claims that you have made, especially when it comes to your own family. Aunt Kathy, who is a sweet woman, and I wish I had her as an aunt because I would have had because I wish I had her as an aunt because she sounds like a really sweet woman. She is the opposite of what you have described her as. As a matter of fact, one of her daughters, Sarah, is the opposite of what you described her. And Sarah sounds like a really sweet lady. Especially when she called in, especially when she and Kathy called in to Daywave to come clean about what kind of person you are, to tell the truth about the person you really are, and not this victim that you claim to be. That's when you freaked and tried to go and do damage control. Because you didn't like it when other people tell your story.
And she says that she just found it because I made a video about it or something and I was talking about her family. She bought it the day it was freaking released. She was the very...
And, of course, she shared that shit around, which anyone, I mean, and she was one of the people that shared it around when it was available for, like, I don't know, online, when it was available for like ebooks. She shared the document around, and Reality Check was one of the people that made the corrections and the spelling, because that book was littered with so many grammatical errors that it sounds like a 13-year-old's fan fiction on Wattpad. If you guys really want to experience true pain, I shall... Hold on. Documents. No. Downloads. Mushy. What the frick am I doing? Sorry, I'm just oh, here. Nope, not that. Not like that. No. Baby, stick it to the wee bear.
Very first one to buy it. Because she was watching and waiting for it to be released. She's watching every video that I upload. She's the first viewer. Well, now it's probably you fucking stalker.
And then forged the paperwork to say that I received that summons.
Show proof.
Okay, I can do that. Well, I actually already did, but All About the Will is the video that we'll talk about, where they were sending me this paperwork that was never going to be received by me because they were sending it to a mailbox.
Yeah, if you want to experience true pain, I sent a link to an Adobe copy of like a Adobe Reader. Or
they knew for a fact I could not access. I have an aunt that is a lawyer, so the forging of the documents is very plausible. Let's see.
yeah, if you want to experience true pain, you can check out the link. The writing in that book is very much abysmal. Yeah, the writing to that book is abysmal. So,
I have to scroll back and see if I can find them. This is a lot of messages.
It's my old cat, Misty.
There's my old cat, Misty. And also on there, y'all keep saying that my hair was falling out because I diet. I have a gluten.
yeah, trust me. I read the first few chapters of that book. I had to skip a few just because I just wanted to read about the murder or her perspective, and then follow it up by comparing it to the actual article about the murder. And what she didn't include in her book was the emails that she sent Kenneth McBride, the ones that basically incriminate her as, and I quote, an accomplice. And when she was looking at the article about the murder, she cringed at first because she saw a blurb or a sentence or a paragraph that basically ties her to the fact that, yeah, she had in some involvement with the murder. And again, every time I do an Adrasia stream, I always have to bring up the words of the prosecutor, Rafik Eller. And these words really ring true to the type of person Mary was the night Roberta Laws was murdered. To quote Rafik Eller, I always have to bring up this quote by Rafik Eller that would tie Mary Barone to Kenneth McBride and the murder of Roberta Laws. And of course, for those of you who have already known about the whole murder and how everybody knows that Mary told Kenneth to get rid of Roberta, since we already know that part, we already know, well, actually, the people who are fans of Hatman, fans of Adonis Paul and the Daywave crew, and even Mersh himself of the Rotsies, or anyone who's seen the documentary that Adonis Paul put out. But for those of you who are still new to the whole Adrasia thing, let me give a little brief synopsis of what happened or why she is going out of her way to try and fabricate this whole narrative that she is an innocent victim. Let's just say that there have been emails that were found on the computer that was confiscated from the property, the computer that I guess Kenneth bought her. I don't know if it's like a PC or a laptop, but Kenneth got her a computer with whatever money he had working at a tire shop. And, or I don't think it was her computer. Or actually, no, it was probably something that Mima got her, because we all know that Mima liked to spoil little old Adrasia. So it must be something that Mima bought her. So yeah. Anyway. Anyways, there has been an email exchange between Mary and Kenneth. And in one of those emails read was a message from Mary demanding Kenneth to get rid of Roberta Laws. Even though she might have thought that she might have had the idea that McBride was going to put her in a home, but who knows? Either she wanted McBride to put Roberta in a home, or she wanted McBride to get rid of her. And I mean, get rid of her. She didn't really specify what she meant when she said when she told McBride to get rid of her. So he did, by strangling her to death and burying her body in the backyard. And she helped him bury the body. Hence why she cringed when she read that quote by Rafik Eller, which I will quote again, which incriminates Mary's involvement with getting rid of the body, with getting rid of Roberta. And to quote, and I will say it again, regardless of how many times I repeat it, but here it goes. To quote, and these are from Eller's words, Rafik Eller, the prosecutor, and I quote, "If he was a loaded gun, she pulled the trigger. If he was a loaded gun, she pulled the trigger." That would
intolerance. My hair falls out when I eat too much gluten, or when because my body stops absorbing nutrients. This is my grandmother.
You do you, widow son. You do you, man. If you do write a book, I would like to learn. I would like to get a copy of like a transcript of it.
And Kathy wants to talk about how much she loves her mother.
She does love her mother a lot. I have I mean, when she was doing that interview with Irate Prostate, when Irate and Prostate invited her on his channel for like the interview, she talked about her mother's childhood and all the accomplishments that she has made. She praises her mother. She praised her mother, your Mima, Mary.
Her funeral was nothing. They barely talked about my grandmother at my grandmother's own funeral. It was fucking pitiful. The whole family rode there in limousines. That was freaking 10-minute service. That was the preacher preaching about being a good woman. He just read her obituary and did a sermon about being a good woman, and that was it. Kathy didn't want him to talk about any of the stuff that she had actually went through and survived, because we don't talk about anything. Ever. Don't ever talk about anything. See, this is me and my little sister talking about going to the thing. Okay, I'm showing up. They do have to tell me. Sending a summons to a mailbox 60 miles away on the idea for a baseless defamation lawsuit is pretty shady, but you've given me the date now. See, originally they were telling me that they were suing me for defamation, and then it came out eventually that it was for the will. Let me see. Okay, see, I will call the server later, and he will serve you for defamation. They can't not include me in the will reading. I'm in it. I don't need you to call him. I have the address. I left a message. Yeah, they can if you don't show up. Well, okay, I'm showing up. They do have to tell me. Sending a summons.
You do you, widow son. You do you, man.
I will make sure personally you won't make it. Okay? This is my little sister.
That's not what she meant. They didn't want you to cause a scene at the service. They didn't want you to start spouting hateful rhetoric towards the family, because we all know damn well you will end up going around making a scene and lying about how your father abused you and how your mother and your relatives weren't there to protect you and protect your mother. So, yeah. That's why. Because again, we know the pattern, Mary. We know that you like to lie about your family. We know that you like to lie about your deceased father, the person that you accused of molesting you when you were a baby. Which, if that's the case, then there should be evidence. And if that's the case, and if that did happen, then where are the bruises? Where are the bruises that prove that your father did those things to you? Honestly, there should be bruises.
Telling me that she's going to make sure personally that I don't make it to the will reading. They already tried to do that by sending the summons that I never received because they sent it to a mailbox 60 miles away. Let me see if I can have that on here at all. This is my family talking about the will. And my family keeps saying nobody else even cares about the will being read. Well, no, nobody else was going to be homeless without the will being read. But no, that doesn't matter. All that matters is that nobody else wanted it read. There's Kathy being hateful the day Meemaw died. Well, this might be the day of her funeral. Kathy was out of Meemaw's life for decades. Decades. Okay, this is my little sister. Bitch, I know you be dodging the server guy, but that's okay. We don't have to serve you to get what's ours. We can sue you, and if you don't show up, we win and get the money and property that's ours anyway. I don't care about your stupid book anyways. So for a long time, they were saying it's all about my book, right? But it was very clearly all about the will, the property, the money, the trust that was left to me that everybody in the family wanted.
No, bitch. No, that wasn't the case. They gave you the fucking money and said to you and told you to figure it out. They wanted you gone. They wanted you out of their lives because, again, you're detestable. They hated you because you kept spouting bullshit after bullshit, trying to incriminate people, trying to lie and say that your family was abusive. And they know goddamn well that, again, you're a liar. You've always been known to be somewhat of a liar. And you're upset that you're being called out by your sister because you abandoned your family. You abandoned them just so that you could sleep around with a pedophile who was having an affair. Actually, no. Sorry. Just so that you can marry a pedophile who was having sex with a 16-year-old girl right before he transitioned to being a woman. Then you hooked up with a convicted child molester with a 46-year-old fiance with cerebral palsy who can't even get up out of her wheelchair to wipe her own ass. And because you wanted that D, you told him in multiple emails to get rid of her, repeatedly screaming, nagging, and begging him to get rid of her. And he did so by killing her and burying her body
So, anyways, they have my address at this point. They're saying they can't serve me because they can't find me. She's texting me, so obviously she can find me. I've given her my address. She knows where I'm at. What they did was they took the address and they gave the correct number and street and the incorrect city. So I was in Oxnard and they gave the exact same address for Los Angeles. And obviously I wasn't going to be found there. And so they said that it was going to this mailbox that I would be able to check that they never.
No joke, Widow's Son. She is one of those people who are fucked up. And she goes on trying to play the victim and act like it's everyone's fault that she's like this. But no. How am I supposed to understand this bitch? She's nothing more than a spoiled brat who's gone. She's nothing more than a spoiled brat, just like the other person that I've talked about. The goat lady, Gasuba. The one who had the OnlyFans where she can't even fuck right. And of course, who has the yeast infection, which causes her to have a disgusting vaginal discharge that looked like fucking cottage cheese. I will never look at that the same way again. So, there's that.
I was never able to check. Let's see. I've been waiting in my truck, waiting for where can I pick up the papers? I will accept them. I'm waiting for them. I'll get his address. I know your ass won't make it back to Florida for court. I don't know how long it's going to take her to respond. She messages me from multiple different numbers because I keep blocking her. Because I don't want to talk to her because she's hateful.
Because Adonis Paul showed a picture of because I had to listen to it when I was watching someone else's stream, which of course, thank God that they didn't actually show the OnlyFans of Gasup of the goat lady. Thank God they didn't show the goat lady's OnlyFans. Otherwise, that shit would have been taken down. But Adonis Paul showed like a picture of the panties, which was covered in vaginal discharge, and his stream got nuked. So he had to stream it on Twitch. Because Susan's a bitch. Oh, that rhymes. So I shouldn't say something. I shouldn't say shit about Susan Wojcicki. Otherwise, she doesn't know who I am.
My whole fucking family is hateful.
Well, they have every right to hate you, Mary.
This is me looking for the mailbox that they.
Well, technically, you are hateful back to your family. So, of course. You spew shit, expect shit to be flinged. You fling shit, expect shit to be flinged at you in return. That's the way of the world. You piss on someone, they don't expect them to piss on you back. You piss on someone, expect them to piss on you back. Okay, I shouldn't have said that because we all know that you have the acidic, your snatch has the acidic level of a xenomorph egg.
They sent the.
Because we all know that your snatch has the acidic values of a xenomorph face hugger.
Supposed summons to 68 miles away. They sent the summons.
That was because you had your phone with you and you were living in the car. They told you not to come to the service because, well, the memorial service, because every year they have to have like a memorial service for Meemaw. That's what a family does. Or at least some family, extended families, families with money and wealth, they
summons for me to come to that will reading or whatever it wound up being. It's
that the will reading. Well, they gave you the money. They gave you a piece of the inheritance, and told you to figure it out. And leave them the fuck alone. And what did you do with that money? You bought some shit for yourself and didn't even go into consideration in, I don't know, saving that money for, I don't know, buying a house, buying property, paying taxes. Who knows? Most of that money usually went to weed and gluten-free products.
It's all over now. See, they gave me the address and I said, I understand what you want to take, but I will show up and I will defend myself. I haven't been avoiding it. I've been preparing. I'll go get the papers today. Thank you. I'll see you in court. Please don't message me again. I could never go get those papers because I was never given the correct information to go and get them, which she said she was going to make sure happened, but keep saying that it's not all true.
Proof of that. Show proof that they forged paperwork that kept you away from the will.
How much more do I need to show?
Kept you. You told me they never
properly informed of, and I have all.
I gotta
the will
use
was
the
read
bathroom.
And they just forged paperwork to keep you away from it. Show the proof of that.
So that they could win a lawsuit that I was never properly informed of, and I have all of the documents to prove that.
Then show it. Show it.
I just did.
What you're talking about, bitch. Brady evidence. Either show us what you're talking about and prove it, or take the route that you don't give a fuck what we think. That's cool. But then don't make videos like this.
I do, though. I do give a fuck what people think about me. It bothers me a lot that so many people hate me and think that I'm lying about these things that I am not lying about, and think that my sister would not say those things to me and do those things to me when she would, that my family does not do these things when they are. This has been going on my entire life.
Her text messages saying that there's no way I would ever be able to receive the summons, and so they're going to win.
I remember that video. She was fucking with you.
No, she was not. There was no joking in giving me the address of a mailbox to go and pick up the summons, telling me that she was going to physically fuck me up if I showed up, telling me that I would be in danger by other members of the family if I came to Florida for the will reading, because they all wanted to hurt me. And it was not over an anonymous book. It was over the will. All of this right now is the will. It's not my book, but they told me it was my book because they wanted me to feel like I had done something wrong and deserving of being hated. So they said, well, we hate her because she wrote this fictional book that's not fictional.
It is fictional. You basically stole, I wouldn't say stole someone else's work. You basically used another person's story and inserted yourself in that person's life. You basically ripped off another person's words.
Without me having a chance to even fight.
You made a video where you accused her of messaging you and threatened to stab your little sister. Remember?
that was a different video, but yes, I did make a video telling her that if she showed up at my truck, I would hurt her, and I had a knife under my pillow. And me and her had been messaging back and forth, and she had been threatening me.
Bitch! That's your sister! Are you so fucking paranoid that you'll even pull a knife on your own flesh and blood? Oh, wait, no. This is a Drassia I'm talking about. So, yeah. Oh, cool. Oh, wait, no. Wait a minute. This is a Drassia I'm talking about. So, yeah, you probably might do that.
Had been threatened. There were a lot of threats on Facebook that my friends were threatening to call the police about for terroristic threats because they got so bad.
I wonder why, Mary Barone. I wonder why. What did it have to do with the fact that you threatened to kill your own sister? Death threats are a violation of the freedom of speech. You don't threaten to murder somebody online. You don't.
Not the knife. I'm not afraid to kill my blood relative.
Why
that shit?
Should I be afraid to kill people who are very much willing to kill me?
So you admit that you would be willing to kill your own family? Huh. Now I know why people started calling you a murderer. Now I wonder why. Now it kind of takes this. Now I know why people are calling you a murderer. I'm sorry. Murder. Murder. Murder.
Or take everything I'm supposed to have and watch me die. Because they hate me and they have always hated me.
Well, I'm not going to repeat myself. I think everybody knows why they hate her.
See, I'm pretty sure she started fucking with you after that.
Without me even knowing what was happening.
And no, it wasn't after the video that I made that with the knife that she started messing with me. I can show you messages going back all the way from freaking when my grandmother was still alive.
Murder! 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 The frogs know, Mary. The Bud Light frogs know that you murdered a potato. So you wanted to kill your sister just like you killed Roberta Laws?
Of my little sister sending me hateful messages that are barely legible because she's not literate.
I'm gonna smoke a bowl. You guys want to smoke a bowl while she cries? I'm gonna get high for this.
Fuck you.
My entire family.
I
know
wants me
everyone.
dead.
They all want you dead. Yeah.
They do.
Here she comes. I wait.
Because I need the truth to be known.
We know. We know, Mary. We know you need the truth to be known. We know that you want people to believe in your bullshit. You want people to validate that you are a perpetual victim. You want people to change your fucking diapers and bottle feed you.
So unprivate your videos.
No.
I would
order
too.
to live.
Okay.
Okay.
I needed.
I still would like to see the video where she was punching herself in the truck.
People to know that my father was a monster.
We believe you that your father was.
Ah, bitch, at least my lighter fucking lit.
I do believe that in some way, yeah, maybe her father did do something to her, but not. Maybe her father was abusive, but I don't know about the whole molestation thing. Maybe it could have been true. Maybe it could have. Maybe it's true. Maybe it's not. She keeps changing the stories. She's inconsistent. She's inconsistent because, again, like I said, maybe I do believe, maybe her father was a piece of shit, but like I said, she could be confusing her own father with Kenneth McBride.
Bad guy. Oh, fuck. What a bad time for life.
And they're saying that I just ripped off A Child Called It. There's nothing in my book that's anything like A Child Called It.
There is.
There's not.
I read Dave Peltzer's book.
I would contest this, but she's going to do such a good job of ruining her own argument that I'm just going to let her go on.
Yeah, I'll do that too. I'll do that too, AP. I know AP watches my streams. I know he watches my streams. He just doesn't like to deal with Mary. So I'm left to clean up the mess.
Okay, so I said that you plagiarized some random book out of a billion. Okay, so there's in all likelihood you've never read this book. You wouldn't know every detail about this book, would you? And you certainly aren't going to back this up by talking about the things that were similar, are you?
As a teenager.
Oh, you did read it.
Oh, so you did read it.
Were similar.
I can tell the things that were similar. Hold on, let me look up A Child Called It, because the child abuse, beaten and starved, the child abuse, the alcoholic mother being left for dead, I could go on. Talking about the whole issue. So yeah, told from the first person perspective. Yes, A Child Called It is a book by Dave Pelzer. It's an account of the abuse that he suffered as a child. It's an autobiography. Anyway. It's basically one about a man. I'm going.
I can read both of those books on my channel, but there would be no point because there would be two things similar, and that would be the stinking. And that's similar in literally every case of child abuse. So that's saying that, the Turpin children, they stunk because they weren't able to shower or change their clothes often. So they must be making it all up too, because Dave Peltzer said he stunk and he made it up. So that means it's all lies if you have a single thing from Dave Peltzer's abuse book in your own life.
He's not. No. Dave Peltzer was the writer of A Child Called It. It's an emotion. It's about his life when he was young. When he was a child, Dave Peltzer was brutally beaten and starved by his emotionally unstable alcoholic mother. A mother who played torturous, unpredictable games that left him nearly dead. Yeah. And I'm reading that, and I'm just reading the book summary. So, yeah. Did your father leave you for dead, Mary? Because I know the abuse, how you describe the abuse, was probably the thing that you borrowed from Dave Peltzer, is the abuse by your father. The fact that you kept describing him as this horrible, heartless monster, which might be an exaggeration. Did your father chain you to a radiator? Did your father lock you in a dungeon?
Life. It doesn't matter that that's literally one of the standard abuse things, is not letting them bathe and clean themselves.
That is true. But that is true. I've seen that. I've seen that with Shanny's kids. I've seen that with Shanny's kids.
Or teaching them how to do those things at a proper age.
Where he had to wear the same clothes to school every day, and he wasn't allowed to eat with the rest of his family, and he was forced.
Those are two stories you tell in your book.
No, I do not. I said that I wore the same clothes often and that I stunk. I never said that I wasn't eating with my family.
Yes, you did.
That's not in my book. That's not in my book. Though when we got older, we often just took our meals to our rooms and ate separately. But in Dave Peltzer's book, he was literally like the family dog. And after the meal, he was allowed to eat their scraps off their plates. That wasn't happening in my house, and I never said it was.
It doesn't matter if that didn't happen. What matters is that you kept over-exaggerating the fact that your family abused you. There you are, trying to, and there she goes again, trying to, like, excuse the fact that she lied about how her family treated her like shit. Even, like I said, she's just trying to retract her stories, her claims, because she's being called out for the bullshit.
I ate too much. I think a lot of us did. I was near 300 pounds at one point. Don't tell me I didn't eat.
Huh. That's what I thought. I don't know if he's still doing Twitch. I know is that he had his channel terminated again. All I know is that he has had his channel terminated again. And speaking of Shanny, no one's ever heard from her ever since. XX hadn't uploaded another re-upload, and she hasn't uploaded. The only video she uploaded was that weird where she's trying to, like, act all sexy, even though she's trying to be a good Christian woman. No one's ever heard from Rev. He's probably on Twitch trying to like do his little Revelation News, the whole prophecy bullshit. I don't know if he's still on Twitch or not. I haven't been paying much attention to Shanny and Rev because I was busy playing this Mortal Kombat mobile game on my phone and watching the 4-hour stream that Adonis Paul did with Virgie and JJ and Mersh.
I overcompensated with my emotions by eating potatoes.
Remember when you were at your family?
I wonder if Rev got arrested for something.
Wouldn't let you eat with them, and when you got to go to the homeless shelter or whatever, you ate with the kids and all that shit. You didn't eat with the adults, and you always wore a bunch of shitty clothes and you stank. Remember that?
Yes, at the...
Yes. Ha ha! There she is trying to backpedal. Ha ha! Caught you red-handed, Mary Barone. Caught you red-handed.
Salvation Army meals, I sat with the children because I felt more comfortable sitting with the children. I never said I didn't sit with my family and eat as a child. I don't think there is anything in my book about meals with my family at all.
That's probably because you didn't include them, because it would be obvious that you ripped off Dave Pelzer's work.
Except that my mom cooked because my dad liked to eat. So none of us starved.
Are you talking about Dad or Kenneth?
And a child called it.
First to throw up.
Show me where in my book I said that I ate separately from my family. Show me where that's in my book.
Good thing I have a copy of it, because I was thinking about reading it again, but you know what? I'll just torture. Hold on 1 second. Let me share this. Yeah, probably. About me, Ma. Okay. My older sister, blah, blah, blah. All right. All right. Bubba, justice for Bubba. Hold on. Hold on. White trash story. Hold on. Right here, it says here. So now I'll talk about the effects the abuse had on her. Aside from the drug use and an early sexual activity, which are both indicative of a bad childhood, she had severe anger issues, which makes sense since we were raised by permanently screaming demons. If even mildly upset, she would lash out violently. She was also desperate for attention. We were all so neglected that the only way to get our parents to look at us was to get in trouble. And she was good at getting in trouble. Oh, this was about her sister. Is this about the sister? Oh, this was about the older sister. Never mind. My story. Chapter 2, my story. Right here is where it says that. Chapter 2, my story. Always having to be different. I would be born in a car, then basically kidnapped. In this chapter, I'll talk about that, as well as decades of abuse, mental illness, a failed marriage, murder, and a complete nosedive into sex, drugs, and alcohol. The rest of my family, I can tell only basic facts about. I can't explain why they made the choices they made. The only only show where it led them and how it connects with our family's long history of abuse. But I can explain every choice I made, every feeling and mistake, now looking back at it. Early days. I know what goes into this section only by my grandmother's telling. When I reached the age where we start forgetting our childhood, Mima became insistent on me knowing what my parents had done. I can't explain why because I don't know her mind, but I thought at the time that it was because she wanted me to love her over my parents. It worked, I guess. I think she's the only person in my family, aside from my brother, I have any feelings for today. Here's how she told it. The week before I was born, there was a record freeze that isn't yet been beat. So needless to say, it was cold that day when Mom went into labor. Blah, blah, blah. She's talking about the day she was born. This was actually hilarious. Blah, blah, blah. Talking about the arrest. And she's making up bullshit about how someone rescued her or something like that. I don't know. But it's all just bullshit. Anyway, I was a little small, but mostly healthy and went home soon. The day after I got home, Mima came by. She found me lying on a half-rotted playpen, screaming bloody murder with a soiled diaper and a rat eating a hole in my leg. That never happened. Mom was standing in the kitchen, staring out the window, unresponsive. Mima thought it maybe was drugs. Today, I think maybe it was shock. Not being in my mother's mind, I could never know. But being fair, she wasn't in her own mind at the time, so I doubt she would know today. After being unsuccessful in getting Mom's attention, Mima gave up and said, "I'm taking the baby." No response, so that's what she did. She took me. I was basically kidnapped by my own grandmother. My mom wouldn't realize I was gone for a couple months. By that time, I had bonded with grandmother, and I would never bond with my parents. They would take me back to my parents for visits, and I would scream, cry, beg, and even bribe to get out of going. So, yeah, Mima spoiled her. Once I apparently told her my sisters could have my gifts from Santa when I was told I had to go home to receive them. At 2, during a visit with my family, my older sister put me in the bath, turned on the hot water, and watched as I screamed and fought to climb out as my little legs turned red and tender, my sensitive baby skin being boiled like a hot dog. Mom wouldn't attend to the attempted murder till the water was up to my thighs. I had to learn to walk normal again after months of walking with my feet turned in to keep my legs from touching while I healed. At 3, Papa had taught me to read. Mima didn't believe him, thinking I was memorizing books, and bought a book I had never read before. Bullshit. I recorded myself reading by myself. She recorded me reading by myself. She was overwhelmed. She had raised lots of babies, but none that could read. She tried to nurture that side of me by getting me piano lessons, the way sophisticated people show their intelligence. I wasn't very good. Blah, blah, blah. That's bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. I was a happy child that would gladly climb into a stranger's arms it offered, and Mima dressed me like Shirley Temple, so lots of strangers wanted to hold me. During these days, my parents were in and out of jail, frequently had to pick us kids up. She wanted me almost obsessively. She knew the home was awful. My father was demonic, and my mother was completely mentally unhinged, and both stayed heavily intoxicated. She knew these things had left me. She knew these things and left me with them because of the other alternative was losing me. At 5, she picked me up and I was acting different. I didn't want to be touched or bathed. I was red and swollen down there. She knew I had been abused and took me back anyways. Anything I went through. She spelled through wrong. I guess she thought I could buy away with. I guess she thought she could buy away with pretty dresses and expensive toys. She bought me everything I wanted, trying to make up for what she knew was happening over there. It caused my family to resent me. While my sisters suffered at home, I was traveling, visiting theme parks, and being treated like an absolute princess. At Mima's, I ruled. Oh, I'll send you the link on Discord. Here. Ew. Let's see if. Hold on. Dun, dun, dun. Let me play this. No. Hold on. Oh, thank God.
Not sure if it'll show up.
Good.
Right below. my thumb. I'm trying to find it on the fucking life. And it is there.
There was no bite mark by the rat.
And it is always my knowledge that it was because a rat was eating my leg. And also, my finger was broken multiple times as a child, and it's still crooked, and it's still fucked up because it was broken multiple times and didn't heal right. Y'all making fun of me having leprosy. The leprosy thing in the book was a joke because when this finger broke one time, the entire fingernail came off while I was on the bus, and it freaked a bunch of kids out because my mom had just slammed it in the car door that morning. Back to asshole.
None of that is in my book.
Yeah, right.
Sitting on this basement steps and being cold and having diarrhea from
You talk about having diarrhea all the fucking time and how.
Yeah, I do. I talk about having diarrhea now.
Because I know why you have diarrhea, Mary. Sorry. I was just reading. Yeah. Well, you did try to eat gluten. You ate pizza. You ate a cheese pizza. Trying to kill yourself by eating gluten. Yes, I wish I was kidding. She tried to kill herself by eating a cheese pizza, which had gluten in it. You see, Mary is allergic to gluten. I don't know if that's true or not, but every time she eats gluten, she gets diarrhea. So she was trying to shit herself to death.
Not when I was a child. In Dave Peltzer's book, he had diarrhea because his mother forced him to drink cleansing fluids and messed his bowels up. That never happened to me, and I never said it happened to me. Now you're saying that, oh, well...
Well, we all know that you had diarrhea by eating gluten, Mary. Yes, that was in her book. She kept saying that a rat chewed her leg when she was a baby. Again, where's the scar?
She had diarrhea from a gluten intolerance as a 33 to 36-year-old woman. And so that's the same as Dave Peltzer having diarrhea from being forced to drink cleansing fluid at 7 years old. Exactly the same, right? Fuck you.
Cold or hot you are, and on top of that, they don't have basements in Florida, so that wouldn't have been in your book. You're getting very anecdotal, and you're not fooling anybody.
No, we didn't have a basement, and it wasn't a situation where
But didn't you say the same thing about a basement, or actually a dungeon, or being held captive for 5 weeks when after Kenneth murdered Roberta Laws? After you planted the potato? After you buried the potato?
Never was told to go anywhere and sit on my hands and not play with the other kids. But the other kids in my family didn't want to play with me. They just didn't want to associate with me.
Exactly. Like what he said. Like what Widow's son said. It would kill you. And that's basically what almost happened to Dave Pelzer, was that his mother tried to kill him. In the book, he was left for dead.
Lord.
Drinking a cleanser or...
Yes. Dave Pelzer's mother tried to kill him when he was 7.
ammonia.
You threaten to do it all the time.
None of...
You threaten to eat gluten all the time, Mary.
Have I really threatened to drink ammonia or cleanser?
No, you threatened to eat gluten.
And if I have, that's the same as saying that was put in my book?
No. Mary, what he meant was that you threatened to kill yourself by eating gluten, since you claim to have a gluten intolerance, which means you're allergic to gluten, and if you eat any ounce of gluten, it would kill you. And you ate a cheese pizza, which made you shit yourself.
As a child, because that's the things that he was forced to do as a child.
No.
And you're saying that I put that in my book, and I didn't.
That happened to me.
No, what he meant is that I'm not going to argue with the whole gluten thing. We can go into semantics on that in some other stream.
So you're saying none of that happened to you? You didn't say you wore stinky clothes as a kid, that you had leprosy, you had rats eating on you, all this terrible shit?
Yeah, she had head lice.
Nothing?
Actually, no, that part, I don't know. Maybe the head lice part was true, but the leprosy, that's not true.
The smelly clothes, yes. The rats and leprosy were not in Dave Peltzer's book. So the two things that you just said were in my book were not in A Child Called It.
Go on.
I could concisely tell my story in 5 minutes, and it would sound absolutely nothing like A Child Called It.
It's funny you know so much about that fucking book that's nothing like yours. That's interesting.
I read it. I read that book, and I read its sequel.
And Adonis Paul and J.J. Stoner read your book, and Adonis Paul read the sequel.
I was born in a car to...
Here it comes.
Okay, that part was from A Child Called It, I think.
drug addicts.
Okay, no. That part was in A Child Called It, was that Dave Pelzer's mother was an abusive alcoholic who would torture him endlessly.
I was born.
My life was nothing like this horrible, overblown narrative about a terrible childhood. Now let me give you my horrible, overblown narrative about a terrible childhood.
Yes! Caught in a lie, Mary. You're caught in a fucking lie.
Dave Peltzer was not born in a car.
Okay, maybe that part wasn't true.
In the car.
But I don't know whether or not she was born in a car.
Car because my father told my mother that he would kill her if she went to the hospital, and my grandma.
Okay, that part was not true.
Why? Why would he say that? This is
because she had drugs in her system, and he was afraid that if they found out what was in her system while she was pregnant, I would be taken away.
If that was the case, then you should have been taken away. But instead, you decided to go with this narrative.
He did not want to lose one of his children, and he also did not want to go to jail for his wife giving birth to a crack baby.
Oh, you're a crack baby. So, Mary, you admit that you're a crack baby. That's good to know.
just like Kenneth McBride said that he would kill your Meemaw if you didn't do what he said.
He did.
No, he didn't. You told
that absolutely happened.
And this is why I always call Mary a pathological liar. She keeps mixing the stories up. She keeps going back and forth between her father and Kenneth. Like, she is trying to create the illusion that her father who took his own life is Kenneth McBride. She's trying to say that her father and Kenneth McBride are the same person. It's actually, it almost sounds like they're the same person.
Why does it always?
And by the way,
why are you always mixing up your stories? You're always going back and forth between how your father abused you and how Kenneth McBride abused you. Kenneth McBride was trying to call it quits, and you kept nagging at him, demanding him to get rid of Roberta Laws. You told him to bury a potato. And that's the nickname we gave Roberta, is that we call her a potato. I know it's harsh to call her a potato, but she was the one that called her the potato. Hence why she keeps saying justice for a potato. Which is why we kept coming up with that story saying calling her a potato. Hence why they used that small potato song whenever back when Adonis Paul had the Adrastia segment. He would have he would play one of the clips of one of her videos, but muted but syncing up that small potato song to the video. Potato.
the day that I left, Kenneth went to my grandmother, but she wasn't home because she had been in the hospital. And he tried to talk to her in the hospital, and they wouldn't let him in. The police went to protect my grandmother because they knew he was dangerous. And the first place he went when he found I was gone was to my grandmother. So yes, she was in danger.
Seem to come down to with you, somebody's going to kill someone else if they don't do what they're told. That seems to be a real running theme. In fact, you scream about it to JJ Stoner saying he's blackmailing you, remember?
And my mother's sisters came.
God, I forgot what I was going to say.
And they took her to.
Of course, you forgot what we're going to say. You're trying to come up with an excuse.
To the hospital. They forced her to go, but we didn't make it, and I was.
It is a running theme that the men in your life are threatening to kill you, or your Mima, or your mom. It's becoming a running theme.
Boarded a car, and then when they took me home, my mom neglected me. She just laid me down and let a rat eat on my leg. And
no, this sounds nothing like the thing that you just said.
I will read A Child Called It on my channel so you can.
She never did.
See that he was never eaten.
Because her Adrastia Needs Help channel was yeeted off YouTube, leaving her main channel and the archive channel
by rats as a baby. Actually, Dave Peltzer was very much loved until he was about 4 years old.
That was bullshit.
Because his mother loved babies.
At one point, you should shut the fuck up. Because you're blowing your own story here, cunt.
So
At one point, you should go fuck yourself.
I could say the same about you, Mary. But I don't want to.
My mother found me and picked me up. And
of course you're upset that Adonis Paul is calling you out on your bullshit.
She took me. She told.
After spending months or weeks accusing him of abusing you, after the whole issue with Ninja, with Dark Ninja, where I wish I was kidding. Dark Ninja made a sock puppet account under Adrastia's name and posted it on 4chan and posted the address the address to her Section 8 housing on 4chan because Mary was stupid enough to show her electric bill on camera. Adonis Paul, he's kind of cool. I do love watching his Late Night with Adonis Paul. I mean, it's got half naked chicks. It's got some cringy TikToks. It's got some PSAs. It's got some nostalgic commercials.
She's not interested in pity, you guys. Why is it called Mayo, your BMW? You'll have to watch part 2. That's what kicks off. You're watching part of the saga.
Yes, Mayo is the name. The reason why Adonis Paul named his documentary Mayo was because you probably saw this on one of my early streams. There was a video where Mary put mayonnaise in her hair. I mean, yes, that's a beauty secret, but JJ Stoner explained that you have to put a dollop on your fingers and lather it together and then massage it in your hair. What Adrazia did was she squeezed an entire bottle of mayonnaise in her hair and combed it.
Happen live right now. This is the set where this is still part 2 happening.
I told my mom she was taking me, but my mom was so out of it she didn't.
Oh, I'm sorry. Is part 2 going to have the truth? Is part 2 going to contain the criminal records where my mom was arrested as a prostitute? And again, for having burglary tools, where my grandmother had to bail my mother out of jail so that she could go to my little brother's funeral? Is it going to contain that? Is it going to contain the messages from my aunt confirming that my father attempted to rape a 13-year-old girl or that he went to prison? Is it going to include any of the actual truth, or is it just going to include you laughing at me?
Oh, what was happening?
If Hatman likes Adonis Paul, and I'm pretty sure you've talked with Harley's Timeout, right, Widow Son? Hatman's wife. And she's a member of AP's fan group, which is dubbed the Fuck People.
Happening. And for the first 6 months of my life, I lived with my grandmother.
And by the way, Mersh's BMW, thank you for dropping by. Is he in town?
Mersh is the host of the Nightwave radio. Hold on, let me show you a link to Nightwave. Daywave radio. Daywave radio. Lois Ropez. We all know about Lois Ropez, right? All right, fans of AP and fans of Daywave know about Lois Ropez, right? Whoever this Lois Ropez is, he seems like a swell guy.
And then I had to go back home because my mother remembered that she had me.
What?
And they took me back.
That's what my grandmother told me. The story that my grandmother told me was that she came to...
Every once in a while, Mother Tara would be in AP's chat. You'll probably find her there.
Check on me the day after I was taken home. I doubt I went home the day after I was born. I was born in the car and I was premature. So, but by the time when I finally went home, I was laid down and neglected. My grandmother came to check on me, found me that way.
I know. I read that part in the book.
She called to my mother, who was standing at the sink, staring out the window.
Gee, that doesn't sound like something made up.
My father must have beat her severely for going against him and going to the hospital. And she was unresponsive. My grandmother called her. She walked up to her. She shook her. My mother was non-responsive.
Huh. Kind of sounds like sounds like you the night when that's funny. I could have sworn you said the same thing about yourself the night Roberta Laws was murdered. You were unresponsive. You were basically...
Grandmother called her. She walked up to her. She shook her. My mother was non-responsive.
That's funny. I could have sworn you said the same thing about yourself the night Kenneth McBride murdered Roberta Laws. You were basically unresponsive after you saw Roberta's body. I read that part in the book when Kenneth told you to help get rid of the body, to wash up the teddy bear. You couldn't move. That sounds like a recurring theme with your stories.
So she said, well, I'm taking the baby, Trina. And my mom said nothing, and she picked me up and she took me. And
you said nothing, and Kenneth had to go dig up the hole to put Roberta in, according to your book.
And she said, Larry, we're taking the baby. And they took me, and they went straight from there to Walmart. And Mimo stayed in the car with me, and my papa went in.
Walmart. Correct me if I'm wrong, but you and Kenneth went to Walmart to purchase a shovel. There was CCTV footage of you buying the shovel. You and Kenneth buying the shovel.
And found a sales lady. And he told this poor sales lady, we just had a baby. I need everything. And they bought everything.
Oh, and from then on, it was bad.
And sorry.
Your grandma spoiled you, Mary. From what I read in the paragraphs that I skimmed through, from the looks of it, your grandmother spoiled you. I wouldn't bother reading the rest because, again, the writing is abysmal. It's pure dog shit.
They bought everything, and then they took care of me for the first, I think, 4 to 6 months of my life. And then one night, my mom called my grandmother, and she said that her and Ronnie were fighting. Ronnie's my father. She said they were fighting, and he said that they had another baby. And
Bubba?
She said that if she had had a baby, it would be there. And there was not a baby there because my older sister was about 5 years old by this point. So she said if they had had a baby, it would be there. So he was crazy, and she had not had another baby. And in order to settle this dispute between her and my father over whether she had had another child, me, she called my grandmother to see if she knew anything about this child who was living in her home. And at that point, my father wanted me to start being brought back home. And I would be taken home and left with him for short periods of time, for a couple of days until I started school age.
Justice
At
for a
one
potato.
Point, my mom, I was about 4.
She was into special needs, wasn't she?
My grandma brought me over after a photo shoot because she used to take me and have my pictures taken at Sears, and I was all dressed up, and my mom grabbed me up in my little dress, and she ran over to the neighbors to show them how pretty her baby looked. And one of the neighbors said, "That's not your baby, Trina. You better take that back where you got it." They had not seen me enough to know that I even belonged to her.
I call bullshit. But then again, anything Adrazia says should be taken with a grain of salt.
Oh, yes.
I'm pretty sure, Widow's Son, your mentor, Hatman, knows a great deal about Adrazia from watching the Mayo documentary.
My mother was unaware I existed for a couple of months when I was first born.
I don't care how drunk a bitch is. She didn't forget that she just spat 7 pounds out of her cooch.
Oh my God, AP. I wish I could make a joke as witty as yours. But I'd be ripping you off.
No, probably not drunk. They were on a lot of other drugs. I know
you were on a lot of other drugs when you were living in your grandmother's condo before you left it decrepit. And then you lived in the tent or the trailer behind your grandmother's property.
At one point, they were on...
And then you ran away to LA.
Meth. That was before my dad went to prison.
Let's not forget the time you were filming a meth head standing at the passenger side, the passenger window, while you were sleeping. Let's not forget about that moment.
Even afterwards, though, there was something wrong with their minds. My family is nasty naturally. Like, one of my neighbors told me, and this is from her, this is not a memory I have, that my father and older sister thought they killed our dog, and so in retaliation, my father and older sister
killed our dog. Your father killed your dog? Thought he killed your dog? Are you confusing? Is she confusing her father with Kenneth? Again, this sounds confusing to me. She's mixing she's mixing up her stories. She can't keep consistent with the bullshit.
Sister used to put my little brother's dirty diapers in these people's mailboxes. Like, that's just straight nastiness. And that had nothing to do with drugs. That was my family being nasty and ugly and dirty.
Kind of like you? That kind of sounds like projection. That sounds like projection. You're nasty, ugly, and dirty. I mean, you were homeless for 5 years, but during that time, you were living in a truck where you were pissing it in a cup and shitting in a bowl. And you couldn't bathe for, I don't know, months. You couldn't bathe for months.
Forth from this.
After being pregnant for 9 months.
Probably 7.
Wait, whoa. Are you saying you were premature? Again, you would have been dead. You would have been on a respirator if you were premature.
If you had ever spoken to my mother, you would understand. And she was not in her right mind. My mother's mind has been so destroyed by the drugs and by the abuse and the mental illness that she has herself. She's schizophrenic.
Projection, Mary. That sounds like projection, Mary. Sorry.
You lying bitch.
You are a lying bitch, Mary.
Hell. To my grandparents.
Oh my god.
Dave
Wait, Jazzy, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, Mary, shut the fuck up.
We do have a tradition around here. Darkstar Mobile 40 says, I'm not a spiteful person, but Elohim is. Elohim says she is a waste of space and either needs to get
praise be to Elohim
her shit together or get out of the gene pool before a lifeguard removes her by force. Just
Yeah, exactly. Somebody that wants me dead.
That's a joke.
But still.
Clearly, you can't take a joke. But then again, this bitch is so brain dead that I'm surprised she even did go to regular. I'm surprised she never did go to regular school. She was in special needs.
Or y'all are gonna say that nobody wants me to death. Nobody thinks I should die. They just think I should exit the gene pool.
dang.
That was sarcasm, you dumb bitch.
That switches. We have to take a mid-roll Adrastia.
So yeah, that's an hour of that. Enjoy.
That proves nothing, you dumb bitch. That proves that you're a liar. And, of course, I will finish off. Ah, God. You're right. You're right. That is another name for God. And here's something I've always been wanting to show you, Widow Son. Is this was a cartoon that Adonis Paul made about the murder of. It's basically lampooning the whole issue regarding the murder of Roberta Lowell. All right, I'm gonna show this little cartoon, and then I'm gonna end this off. This is a work of fiction, and it's coincidental.
Oh! Mary, why are you doing this to me? You were my best friend.
I'm sorry. I had to do it so me and Kenneth could be together.
You were sleeping with my fiancé?
Yes, I've been sleeping with him, but it's only because you want me to hurt myself. You're trying to push me to hurt myself by having cerebral palsy, making me.
By the way, this is AP's depiction of. This is Adonis Paul's depiction of Adrastia. This is his depiction of This is Adonis Paul's depiction of Adrastia. It's almost exact.
Sad every day.
No!
And now you have to die.
No!
Yes!
Yes!
No!
Yes!
Why is there a cat in here?
That's Smokey. That's my cat, and I love him. That's why I had to kill him like everything I love.
Why are my dogs in here? I'm not a murderer.
Murderer!
You'll die in that hole from exposure. I didn't do it. I didn't do anything.
No!
You made me do this. You made me do this by being engaged to the man that I love.
Hey, that's not right.
I'm sorry I didn't have my pooping bowl.
No! that you're gonna be gone, I can poop anywhere I want.
I know.
Please don't poop in my bowl. How am I gonna fill in this?
Funny you should say that, because in the book that Mary wrote, she wrote that she said that she was held captive by Kenneth McBride, the guy she was banging, who was engaged to the woman with cerebral palsy, the one that he murdered. And this is basically lampooning the murder, even though it's funny and it's basically a parody, because it's basically pointing Mary's story. It's basically pointing out that, yes, Mary was involved in the murder because she told Kenneth to get rid of Roberta. And he is just parodying the fact that Mary lied and pointing out her bullshit.
Oh, God damn it, stupid fucking woman, use a shovel. I already choked the bitch, you can't get rid of
Yes!
But sweetheart, we don't have a shovel. Oh, hell. Get in the truck. I'm going to Walmart. Remember, this was self-defense because you were trying to get me to hurt myself.
Hurt! The murder of Roberta Lulz. Oh my God, AP. You really outdo yourself. And that's going to do it for tonight's special. Thank you, Widow Son, for sticking around to the end. I know it was a arduous journey, and I wanted to thank Draven's Crypt for what the fuck do you think I want? Oh my God. Yeah. Yes. Thank you for sticking around, guys. Thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting. Again, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and click the bell notifications. Again, this is the weekly Mary stream that I do on Sundays at 9, even later, depending on the mood. But personally, I have more fun doing the Mary streams because they're funny to laugh at because of all the bullshit she has said. And the fact that she freaks out every time. The fact that she freaks out every time people call her out. But regardless, it was fun. I'm waiting for someone to go, what the fuck you think I want? Oh, the fuck you think I want, motherfucker? What the fuck you think I want, motherfucker? I'm sorry, Widow Son, but this ain't Frank chat. God damn the Wern. She's not that smart enough to be like the Wern. Anyway, thank you for sticking around, guys. Thank you for Draven's Crypt for joining me, for joining me, hanging out with me. Thank you, Widow Son, for coming in to saying hi. That's probably going to do it again. Yes, fucking word. I know. Anyway, thank you for sticking around. Thank you for showing up. I'm Rickzilla, and I bid you, and I leave you with this tune. You know how I would always end my shows with this little gem from the Daywave crew, the Daywave radio crew. This is the theme by all you guys. And I will end it with this. Good night. Good night, everyone. And Have a great week. That being said, I'm Rickzilla. All right. I will leave you all with this song. Thank you for sticking around. Thank you for showing up. And that being said, I am Rickzilla, and I will see you guys next time. Peace out, folks.
Called me this morning. Called me this morning. Why wouldn't you call back? Called me this morning. Called me this morning. Hey, radio! You want me dead? Then you stoner, Adonis Paul, Royce Lopez, Daniel McIntyre, Jeremy Johnson, Kenneth McBride, Roberto Long. Hey, radio! Hey, radio! You want me dead? Hey, radio! Then you stoner, Adonis Paul, Royce Lopez, Daniel McIntyre, Jeremy Johnson, Kenneth McBride, Roberto Long. Hey, radio! Hey, radio! Hey, radio! Fight! Then you stoner, Adonis Paul, Royce Lopez, Daniel McIntyre, Jeremy Johnson, Kenneth McBride, Roberto Long. Hey, radio! Hey, radio! Hey, radio! Fight! Fight! Called me this morning. Called me this morning. Why wouldn't we call back?